I'm here today because another man died.
Hey, Double Dogs, how you doing? How you doing, soldiers? How you doing, sailors?
You know, one part they don't show is oftentimes they start off with a speech and saying, I want you to look to your brothers from, the left and the right and behind you and realize that some of them aren't going to make it out of there. And I just watched that video now and I can point out everyone that was killed. And they were almost in every clip.
Kick some butt, all right? Yeah.
You're always worried about your child, but knowing that he's in a war zone is a different kind of worry.
Up until November of 2004, I had been able to cover Iraq as somebody else's war. But in Fallujah, it turned into not just a war that I was covering, it turned into something that I was involved in.
Our mission was to clear the city of insurgents. It was a full-on frontal assault into the city of Fallujah.
When you have 8,000 of them moving into a town like that with all their firepower, it's a terrifying force.
دبم بالطيارات أدوية، يعني مو بس عليهم هم، يعني على القاعدة، يعني على الناس البريئة، دبم مواد سيلتهم.
Fallujah is the city of mosques. It's called the city of mosques. And the insurgents knew that. The Americans couldn't go into the mosque, so they would use them to stage and attack the Marines because they knew that they had more safety there than they did in a regular place. So this mosque, just short of the southern edge of Fallujah, a tank fired a shell through the minaret. And they apparently killed the insurgent who was inside. I needed a photograph as evidence, as a reporter, to show that these mosques were being used as staging grounds. A picture of a dead insurgent inside a minaret showed that without question. These spaces were being violated and were therefore no longer protected by the Geneva Convention. So we went to the captain and said, hey man, can you please, radio everybody, tell them that we're going to be running up the street to this mosque and just tell everyone not to shoot us. This time Reed said, no, if you want to go, this time you got to go with the squad because it's too dangerous out there. And I said, no, I've got a policy against, like this non-intervention policy where like stuff shouldn't happen on account of me.
What did you think about doing this job?
I was angry. I did not want to do it in the first place because we were pretty much done with the city. So for me, it was like, that one last patrol.
We were walking towards the minaret, and Fallujah had been so violent, so destructive.
So we clear out these auxiliary buildings, we clear out the mosque.
And when we got to the base of the minaret, Lance Corporal Billy Miller was stacked at the door. Ashley Gilbertson was there. And with his Australian voice, he was trying to tell us, hey, you stay back, I'm just gonna go run up there and take a quick picture.
Before we went there, a Marine stopped me and said, I've got to go ahead and clear it. So that was Lance Corporal William Miller. He went up first.
And we're walking up there, and the steps were pretty big, and that Billy Miller was going up, and he was almost a full step ahead of me.
And just as you start to get a little bit of light through a hole in the wall from where the tank shell went through and killed this insurgent,
he almost said something. He almost said...
Then there was a gunshot. maybe multiple gunshots. And I felt water all over me. And I remember falling and just rolling. And I looked down at my camera and my hands, and it wasn't water. It was blood and brain, and it was Billy, like just all over me.
They tried to go up there a couple times, and on like the second or third time, they were able to go up there and get his body out.
And we made it back to the base. Nobody else was shot. We went to the lieutenant. I said, well, I'm sorry, it's my fault, I know. And he said, yeah, it's your fault. And then I called my editor and said, I have to get out of here.
I know that Ashley has a lot of guilt, but he was doing what he was supposed to do, and Billy was doing his job. He loved being a Marine.
I mean, I still love talking to Susie. And I wish it was easier than it is, but I feel like I owe her son.